Hello, welcome to Selah, a brand new podcast creating a space to come each weekday to hit pause, catch our breath, draw near to God and refresh our spirits. This is our first ever Wednesday in which we'll be thinking about different current affairs, things that are happening in the world around us.
But if I stop and breathe in your presence, I find that you are the answer. You're all I need. And even when I don't understand, I know I am safe in your hands. Just breathe. Just breathe.
This week, the focus will be on prayer and the pandemic. And I don't know if any of you saw this, but there's been an article in the news recently about how young people have been engaging with prayer more than the over 55s, and a couple of others about how people have turned to faith or spirituality over the pandemic. And that got me thinking, why? Why might that be? What's been the cause of a growing spirituality in our country? And I don't know what your thoughts are, but I think that maybe the pandemic has played a part in reshaping how we think about faith, how we engage with it, and how we put it into practice. And often when things feel really tough, I think that's when we reach out in prayer or look for something to cling to. We often look for answers outside of ourselves and to find strength from our faith, no matter how weak or strong that is. Now, over the majority of the pandemic, I was living in another country on the other side of the world. Literally, I was living in New Zealand, so really isolated from family, friends, and there was lots of different pressures on top of that. Now, probably the majority of you weren't in a whole of the country, but I'm sure loads of you can relate to that feeling of isolation and maybe loneliness too. I also found myself thinking lots about what is the point of life, and that sounds very dramatic, but I did ask that question a lot. And I think it is one that we all ask ourselves. But back to the questioning, it got me asking more questions. So when everything is stripped back and stripped away, what is left? When life is difficult, all the things we normally find comfort and stability in, what happens when those things are suddenly gone? What foundations are we standing on? And as a Christian, not being able to get to church or do it in the way that we have done for years through lots of questions about faith, and when all of the lights go out and the music is silent and the people aren't there, what does my relationship with Jesus actually look like when all of those things, like the fancy frills, when all of that is gone, and how deep does my faith really go? And that kind of questioning pushed me into prayer in a whole new way. And I wonder if that's been the same for some others too. In the silence and isolation of the pandemic, things we struggle with have perhaps felt heightened, like bad news in the media, or the comparison of our lives to others over social media. And maybe all of these things combined have led to a deeper sense of wondering if there's more, craving more depth and authenticity in how we do life and the community we do it with. And maybe the stripping back of all that makes life chaotic and busy and complex has led some people into a place of seeking God, in the place of prayer and looking to form deeper relationship and conversation with the one who created us and loves us, which in turn increases our faith and our hope. And I think lots of churches and other religious organisations have noticed this shift in people and moved prayer and worship spaces online during lockdown, giving room for people to ask those deeper questions, which has made it a lot more accessible for people to engage with their faith in that way. And the challenge as life gets back to some sort of normality is, how can we take that hunger for prayer, that hunger for more depth, more authenticity, and carry it into each day and into communion with God? And I'm going to leave that question with you all and myself to think about, and I'm just going to pray. Lord, in all that we are and do, and in the chaos and busyness of life, in all the unknown and uncertainty, when things feel really difficult, or when things are normal, help us to draw closer to your heart in prayer, to take time and space out to be with you and to listen. And would you encounter us with your love? Amen.
In the quiet, in the stillness, I know that you